What room am I in? Oh, right.
You,
It's the room where we shoot the Beyond the Film podcast. I'm your host, Tyler.
I'm Ryan, and I'm still amazed at Tyler recreating The Man in the Box by Alice in Chains.
I am the man. I'm the man in the box. If there ever was a thumbnail for an episode. Anyways, we are here to talk about Backrooms, the directorial debut of the guy who directed Backrooms, whose name I cannot.
Kane Parsons.
Kane Parsons, who is famous for producing the Backrooms set of creepypasta videos on YouTube. Basically, this is very similar to the Slender Man type of internet storytelling that is now getting a full-fledged feature debut with some legitimate star power behind it. You have Chiwetel Ejiofor, who's definitely been around. I don't know if he won the Oscar for 12 Years a Slave, but I mean, he's a fairly respected actor. You have Renée Renzeviv, who's been around more recently in the works of, oh God, why can I not think of that director's name? Joachim Trier. You even have people like, why can I not remember his name? The Duplass brother. I forgot which one it was. But yeah, you have some legitimate star power in this creepy movie involved with discovering an alternative dimension where it's just room upon room upon room, and they get more uncanny, and then there's possibly some creatures involved there. So, Ryan, as the only person in this podcast who watched all 100% of Backrooms, what did you think of it?
I was assuming you're referring to me having to wake you up throughout the first 45 minutes-ish of the movie.
To defend myself, after work on Fridays, I am really, really tired to the point where I usually can take a nap if I want. I could not do that on Friday. I was a little zonked at the beginning of this movie. But what's funny is, like, I was a little zonked. I probably fell asleep for like 3 minutes total. But Passenger, which is the episode we talked about last week, we saw that one later, and I was wide awake for that movie the whole time. And then I probably ended up going to bed at like midnight last night. So don't understand it. Maybe it's the fact that Backrooms is pretty boring for the first 45 minutes of its movie. So that's the background context that you all desperately asked for.
So, as more of an expert on the Backrooms, I don't want to brag, but I played about 75% of Escape the Backrooms with my friends. From what I understand, and I'm going to get a ton of flack if I get this wrong, I believe Kane Parsons, or Kane Pixels as he was known on YouTube, is actually one of the original creators of the Backrooms. I know it was him and another guy, and there's two conflicting stories of one has certain entities and certain levels of the Backrooms, which were kind of shown in the movie, so I'm kind of confused. But the other guy who I'm not as familiar with has like the pool rooms and like the fun level and neighborhood, street, whatever. I'm gonna get a ton of flack if I'm mixing these guys up, but there's two different versions of the Backrooms that are both kind of accepted, and Kane Pixels is the one that everybody seems to agree with and love and fell in love with. He's fallen asleep already. I do agree with Tyler. This film, as well as it's shot, there's some really amazing shots in this. Right in the beginning, there's a shot of a woman and a child under like a really beautiful sky, and then like as a jump scare, an excavator kind of comes and drops stuff on what you think is going to fall on them. But it's shot so well for somebody in their 20s to help come up with some of these shots that I've never really experienced in a horror movie. Really interesting, really thought-provoking. The first 45 minutes of the movie is extremely tiresome, and it's very boring, and I will be honest, even though I woke Tyler up, I was also kind of falling asleep a little bit. But that that 45 minutes is followed by like some really, really excellent 20 to 30 minutes of what I can only explain of as like, the series VHS, um, like a good section of a VHS movie, where it's filmed with like a handheld camcorder and it's first person and it's very like found footage Blair Witchy. Um, and then it goes to being kind of boring again and a lot of exposition that really doesn't lead us to too many places. Uh, and then we get a really solid like 10 minutes. And then, in my opinion, the ending is also kind of just boring exposition again. And I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, did I go into the Backrooms expecting this really well thought out lore about the Backrooms? No. But what I got was I mean, it's hard to be so critical of this movie because I basically got what I asked for, right? Like I got the uncanny creepiness that, and I wouldn't even call it like terror or horror or tension because it doesn't really feel like that. It's just I don't know how to describe it. It perfectly captures like the heebie-jeebies that you get when you're in like a wide open, empty, soundless space. And I think for the most part, the movie does a good job of like capturing that creepiness and then going up and increasing the level of uncanniness with its furniture, like disappearing into the walls and the eventual creatures that you see within there. Yeah, I mean, he's very clearly a really raw filmmaker. Like he doesn't have a lot of experience under his belt, and you see his influences all over the place. I mean, where I think his influences are very strongly used are something like the found footage stuff with like his love for clearly the love for Blair Witch. I think he does a really good job of intermixing found footage stuff very effectively, especially in that like beginning like 10 minutes of the movie. I thought was really good, and I was really grasped onto that. But then you have something at the very end where like the movie gets very exposition heavy, as you said, and there's like a scene that I was telling you where Chiwetel Ejiofor's movie and Renee Rezlev's character, who's like his psychiatrist, are at a dinner table, and it's very clearly giving Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes, and it just is like, okay, like what are we doing here? Like the movie's like an hour and 50 minutes long, and it seems like it just kind of like drags its way to the very bitter end of this movie. And what's funny is like, I don't know, maybe it's because I was actually zoning in and out. Like it didn't seem like it was that long, but there were times where I'm like, God, like, can we just move on? Right. Well, and yeah,
and it's funny it's just funny that you say that, because when we got to what I thought was the end, with the whole finale part, but then we move on to like another whole exposition of like her being taken in by this other set of people and them having this giant conversation that really leads to nowhere. Like I wish we would have just done a hard cut at that scene. I don't want to give spoilers on this one because it's such a weird movie that I think people should still, especially people of a younger generation, I think really enjoyed this. I will say that our theater, actually the younger generation in our theater, had a standing ovation for this movie at the end.
Yeah, our theater was packed.
Yeah, it was packed. Actually, I just read that this is the highest profit for a horror movie in the history of ever for the first day release, with I think $38 or $39 million on day one.
Hey man, good for them. That's great.
Which beats out the previous movie. I believe Conjuring Last Rites had $34 million on its first day.
Okay. Hey man, that's awesome. Like.
Yeah.
Like if you go in and you love this movie because you're a fan of the creepypasta, like that's great. But like I had no knowledge other than just like a very basic breakdown that Ryan was able to give me. And I think for the most part, it lives up to it being a feature-length film of a creepypasta, but that's also its biggest problem, right? Because it doesn't do enough to justify an hour and 50-minute runtime when you could really explain this in, a 30 to 45 minute short film at the most. right? So like it does have its moments. I did find myself like creeped out for some good portions of this movie, but yeah, ultimately I think it's just kind of a bit of a nothing burger. Like it's a movie that's really getting celebrated by critics and audiences alike, and I just like it's not something I vibed with. It's something that I think they think it's better than it is, and I think it just comes off as a bit pretentious as a film.
I think, in my opinion, if the entire movie would have been a found footage Blair Witch style film like it originally set out to be,
I agree.
I truly think this could have been a 5 out of 5 for me. I think
Totally
this
agree.
could have been like almost movie of the year. Like some of the stuff that he does. Well, I don't know about movie of the year with the ones where haven't been this year, but like some of the shots that he does with his first person camera work in that section is some of the best found footage I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, like that beginning scene where he's constantly walking into new rooms, and just how fast he checks around the corners, always made me think that something was going to be there.
Agreed.
And I'm like, yeah, it almost seems like he didn't have the balls to just make it a found footage movie because of the reputation that comes with found footage films.
Agreed.
Because there's just been so many of them that have been done so poorly, and just try to make what ends up being a very simple concept in horror way more complicated, right? The Blair Witch works because it's a dead simple story at its heart. Whereas if you think of, like something like, I don't know, The Last Exorcism. Don't know why that just randomly came to my mind. But when it's trying to build up the city of Louisiana and get us to know these characters and then go through the possession stuff, I'm like, okay, well, that's just too much to be done through the lens of found footage. Like, if you can keep it simple and you can keep the tension high and you can deliver some effective scares, do it. But it seems like he almost wanted to do it, but then got talked out of it by like the powers that be, right? His executive producers or something. I don't know. Like, I'm very similar as I was on Passenger last time. Like, I think the movie's got potential. I think the right person will vibe with this, but I don't think there was enough here to really give it like a recommendation from me personally,
I agree with you. I'm actually seeing some videos online that I'm actually kind of conflicted about, not because I believe them, but just because I think it's kind of crappy. A lot of people are saying that the movie was actually so well made that there's no way a 20-year-old could have made this movie, and it was ghost directed by another producer. And I think that's such a shoddy thing to say about somebody. I know a lot of people from the movie producer wise has come to defend him and say that like he didn't need anybody's help. And I can see. To me, it does feel like a 20-year-old made the movie. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And I mean that in the most
understand what
way.
they're saying too. Like, it's a well shot movie.
Like,
yeah, the film's cinematography and direction are not the problem here. The problem is just that I don't think this is a concept that's worthy of an hour and 50-minute long movie.
Agreed. And I guess that's the most that I can say is if this was a full-fledged, even hour and 50 long full found footage film, 5-star movie immediately. He did some of the best work I've seen in found footage in a very long time. Honestly, I probably like the found footage of this since the VHS movies, or honestly all the way back to Grave Encounters.
Yeah, I mean Grave Encounters, other than Blair Witch, because I'm not super familiar with the VHS films, is like the pinnacle of like that's about as far as you can go story wise and still make a found footage movie effective. But yeah, I mean. Yeah, if you're familiar with the creepypasta, you're already going to go see it, and you'll probably get some enjoyment out of it. I don't think that... I think the shocking part is the stars of this movie, I don't think end up bringing a lot to their roles. Like,
agreed.
I think because the characters are just so woefully uninteresting that, they're just kind of vessels to move the cinematography along, which is kind of a shame, because I'm like, if you're gonna explore this concept, they clearly made the choice to just focus the story and the narrative on exploring the concept more than like building up a story, which is fine for something like a short film. But since they didn't go that route, and they still made the movie an hour and 50 minutes long. Like, what are we doing here? You know?
Well, and I guess that's my thing is I don't even know if boring is the right word for what I feel.
No.
Those
Yeah.
segments are.
Boring doesn't feel right.
It's almost like we force exposition of characters' backgrounds with no payoff. I mean, we build up this therapist character so much throughout the movie, and there is literally zero payoff with any of her backstory. We don't get a single explanation of any of her backstory throughout the movie, and we spend most of the movie watching memories of some event that we never get an explanation of. And I think all of that could have been cut for more found footage style.
What do you mean an
filmmaking.
event that we don't get an explanation of?
Explain the entire thing that of her childhood, apparently, with her childhood house. Like, we don't get any explanation. We get
Her mom
an
had
idea.
schizophrenia.
Okay, yeah, we get some kind of idea, but we don't really have much of a background. Are we insinuating at the end that her mom also saw the Backrooms because she was in the same exact kind of room as like a separate person?
I mean, it's possible because didn't they talk about how like there's more backrooms opening up within the community, so there's more vessels for this. So I mean, yeah, they leave it ambiguous, but like maybe that's the cause of her schizophrenia, right?
It could be.
Mean,
yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not a professional in the backrooms. I know some friends, and I'd like to have some conversations with them about how they feel after they.
I got some friends who hang out in the creepy backrooms.
I do know some friends that may indulge in the backrooms.
Is this something you indulge in on like a regular basis? Like,
not quite me, but yes, there are people that indulge in the series.
It's not me. It's my friend Brian.
But anyway, Tyler, what do you think? When should people see this?
I mean, personally, I think it's a pass. I don't think it's that effective of a horror movie. I don't think you're missing a whole lot if you skip this. But I mean, if you're a fan of the creepypasta, I don't know if I'd rush out to theaters to see it. I don't think it's a great theatrical experience movie. I think if you're desperately interested in the idea, maybe wait for like a streaming.
You know, I'm going to go off on a limb here and I'm going to say the opposite. I think that there's something that really pulls to other people that aren't us. And I think a lot of people have really enjoyed this movie experience. And I think that people should not only see it because it's the way of the future to have YouTubers and stuff like that joining horror. Support Kane. He's got some awesome camera work. Go out, see the movie. Let's see what he can do with this next film. Hopefully he can maybe put together something that appeals to me a little more. Yeah, I say see it in theaters if you can. If not, see it in a streaming site or buy it.
Bold.
I'm telling you, there's something that we are personally missing. I have not been to a horror movie that got a standing ovation from a crowd. And I can't even say I got this from like Iron Lung, the Markiplier movie.
To be honest, dude, I think some of that might have just been like disingenuous. Because I think they were just trying to be funny.
But they got an entire theater to clap pretty much, and I could understand if it was like a row or like 5 people.
Dude, people lost their minds when Chicken Jockey happened in Minecraft. Like that doesn't mean
it's
a good movie. Like
maybe I'm just getting old, but like. There are people our age, there are critics out there saying that this is like the best movie they've ever seen, dude. So we're obviously missing something.
I mean, oh, really? So now critics are always right? Like, come on, dude.
I can't win with you.
Nobody disagrees with the critics more than you.
You should like this movie more because the original picture.
I feel I should, and I don't.
The original picture from the Backrooms was taken right down the street from us in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Right down the street. That's like an hour away. Like hour 30 north.
Everything is right down the street.
It's right down the street. 5 hours that way.
What do you think about the Backrooms? Do you think that it should get a sequel? Do you think that we're dumb and it's actually a really good movie? Tell us when you comment, when you like, when you subscribe, when you get lost in our Backrooms that I will create if we get enough subscribers. And I will lock Tyler in the center of it, and we'll see if he can get out.
The sequel to Backrooms is just 90 minutes of video recording through an Ashley Furniture.
You know, I actually, going back, one of the things that I really did appreciate is that this guy's business is failing so bad that he finds a separate dimension, and the only thought he has from the separate dimension is, I just got free furniture
Yeah.
to sell in my store. And that's a businessman.
Really, my thought was like, how is he running all this power through here?
Well, he was good. His bill was raising. They made that whole comment.
I know. But clearly not enough.
You know, that is... This other company, or whoever made the Backrooms, I think they need to get investigated for power theft, to be honest.
Yeah, good luck suing him.
All I know is that if this happened to me and my family as a kid, my dad would be...
Yeah, if we left those lights on at all times, all hours of the day, my dad would have threw a gasket.
You leave the refrigerator open for 10 seconds and you're wasting my power!
Oh, dude, every once in a while, like I'll leave the door open or close it when I shouldn't have, and my dad gives some snarky-ass comment about how, yeah, I don't know. Love you, Dad.
Welcome to being a millennial. And I know your mom watches this. Hi, Denise.
I'm well... Hi, Bob.
See you guys next week. Or in a couple days. I don't know. These are going to be released weird.